News First, Newsline Prime with Araz Shaukat Ali.
And very good evening to you. This is Newsline Prime. Today we are recording because sometimes the diary gets so full that we're forced to do a recording, and today is one such day. If you do send questions in, it will be taken up during a different program. So this morning we are going to talk about scouting, and we have with us the Chief Scout Commissioner and the Assistant of the Scout Commissioner, and they're here, right here in person. We'll take the Assistant Chief Scout Commissioner first. It's Mrs. Vatsala Vijay Wickrama. Very good morning to you and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Thank you. And the Chief Scout Commissioner is also here with us, and it's Engineer Meryl Gunathilaka. Very good morning and welcome to the program. Now then, I'll make it simple and therefore it might become interesting. What is scouting?
Thank you very much for starting with this question for us. Scouting is actually for young children, and it's a non-formal education, form of non-formal education.
Right.
And it gives the opportunity of young children to go for outdoor life and have fun, and also through learning by doing certain things like camping, fishing, riding, doing physical activities. So this is what and also the group feeling and togetherness.
Okay. And Miss Vatsala, how young do you start Scouts from?
Okay, we have the youngest section is the Singiti section. That is from 6 to 7 years.
Okay.
And then we have the Cub Scout section from 7 years to 11 years. And the Junior Scout section from 11 upwards to 14 years, and then the Senior Scout section till 18, and then we have the Row Scout section after 18. And
I know this in the back of my head somewhere. Who founded the Scout movement?
He's a Britisher.
Yeah.
He's Lord Baden-Powell, and this was started in
Lord Baden-Powell, was it?
Yes.
Right.
And this was started in 1907.
Right.
In England.
So I knew Mr. Lord Powell had something to do with this. God bless him. So you start them off quite young then?
Yeah.
And so the Senior Scouts are what sort of age? 18, A-level people? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
From 14 upwards to 18. So mostly they are from O-level and A-level students.
Now, Engineer Meryl, you said that the scouting is a sort of a informal education. What are the values that you try to instill through the scouting movement?
It's like this reflects the actually the good values system when they grow up as senior citizens.
Right.
So from the young ages, they value the group teamwork.
And do you sort of instill values of the reason I'm asking you this is that in our country today we are engulfed by allegations of corruption and all that, where public monies are at stake, and where there is a very loose attitude when it comes to being responsible for other people's money, and especially when it comes to state money. It's almost like, it's all right to steal the state money because it's not ours. It actually belongs to all of us. So do you try to instill some ethics in through the scouting movement?
Yes, sir, certainly. This is what we require right now, because from the young age,
yeah,
when you are a scout,
Yeah.
I'm wearing a particular uniform.
Yeah.
This reflects that we are a disciplined movement.
Right.
So once a person, like a small child,
Yeah.
wears a uniform,
Yeah.
it's a differentiation between a normal child and a scout. So this gives him some sort of a responsibility towards his society, and we do have certain ethics like our scout promise and 10 principles where you have to obey the law of the land and your religion, your country, and to honor everything and to obey the superiors. Like there are set of rules. So through this, when he becomes a young children and a teenager even, and goes through a certain process where while doing, he's learning life skills, not only life skills, and to be a good citizen of the country. If you take most of the tough people, like Tribe Forces commanders or doctors or engineers or specialists or lawyers, senior lawyers,
some of them have
mostly
gone through
this scouting movement.
And how easy is it, Ms. Watsula, to attract a child to become a scout? Is it quite, I think it's quite easy, must be quite easy, because they're young, they're 6 years old, there's peer pressure, one or two does it and everybody else wants to do it. Is it like that really on the ground?
Yes, mostly I think the children love the uniform. The little age they love what they are wearing.
Right.
That may be attraction at the earlier stage, but when we go to Cub Scout section, the activities we do and the programs that attract them as well.
Okay.
Now recently we concluded National Kabori. So there are 8,000.
Where was that?
It was at Veyangoda Senior
Right.
College of Education from 6th to 8th. We concluded, and first time in the history we got Maldivians and Indians also coming for the program, 250. And His Excellency was the President was the chief guest because he's the chief scout.
Was he a scout in his school days?
Yes, he always tell in his speeches. He's at, I think, Polonnaruwa in his school. He was a scout.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is not to involve you or Engineer Mario, but I think, don't you think, and if you agree, send us an SMS on 0772 300 305. If you think that all parliamentarians who propose to become a parliamentarian or a councillor should have been a member of the Scout, because then they'll learn some ethics. Right? Back again to you. So now, Engineer Mario, tell me, what kind of stuff do you all do? These activities that helps you to keep the interest in the Scout movement going?
As a very small child, that starts from the Singiti movement.
Right.
So at very early stage, then it's only for a day, 1.5 hours or 2 hours maximum. So you just ride around having a small uniform and the scarf and playing a small, very tiny activity, or sing a song, etc. So then you become a Cub Scout from 7 to 11. So then activities are much broader, but not, but at their, I mean, they can do that small knots and having a small hike or going to do a small, very small jobs. Like these are actually not learning by doing process.
Right.
Then he becomes a junior scout.
Okay.
Then the things are more bit more complicated than having knots and going for an outdoor camp, maybe 1 or 2 nights together with the friends, cooking their own food, and through the jungles.
It's quite fun then.
Quite fun, and making directions, finding directions even by stars. You know, this is a GPS era, and this 4th industrial revolution. But the students, the scouts, now gets down the primitive things like having the compass and the finding the directions. These things also needs for them to realize the evolution of the system. So this very fantastic way of education.
And I see Ms. Vatsala nodding in agreement there. But how difficult is it to be a teacher within the Scout movement, if you like? Are children always, I don't think they're so disciplined when they first join you. How difficult is it to cope with children?
Today I am the Assistant Chief Commissioner, but my starting point of scouting is with my little children as a Cub Scout leader. So I know how, I think it's a fantastic time I spend with the little children. Yes, they are sometimes naughty, but when they come to the pack meetings and all, we also enjoy with them. They come for activities, and I still remember my college, my headmaster used to send me the naughtiest children to Cub Scouting. Here, Vatsala, you just take this child and get him to a correct way. So I still remember, so they became good. They became very good.
The school you were at sounds like a jolly good school. What's the name of that school?
Well, I started my scouting career at St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia. I'm still working there.
Oh my gosh, I think there's a conflict of interest here, so I better declare that former Thomian, okay? So go on, so that's a good school. And actually, the producer of this program is also Thomian. The group director is also Thomian. But the principal shareholder is a royalist. There's diversity for you. There you are. So the children really, they enjoy this.
Yes.
Well, what sort of activities do you do in the beginning, you know, when you're little, 6, 7 years old?
Yeah, the Singiti, of course, they do like, you know, work with sand and, you know, other stuff like what, you know, really it's an interesting program. No, like when only in Cub Scouting we have a real program going on. They have to work for Bronze Star, Silver Star and Gold Star, that is the highest award. So they are, of course, we have a program which will bring back this, you know, the culture, religion and everything together. But it's a fun program for them. So we sing, we play, and still we do, you know, we have some sort of a proficiency badge scheme where they can win. He can be a musician, he can be an athlete, and so many things. So the boys like to earn these things.
Yes, and then in the meantime, in the whole process, the bigger picture is that you're promoting harmony, togetherness, unity, and loyalty, I suppose, as well.
Yes, all the children like Tamils, Muslims, Sinhalese, everybody working together, and they camp together, so they go for hikes, everything together. Now they recently conclude Kabori, all the district, Jaffna, Kankasanture, from Hamban to the
That's good to transcend these things like communalism and religion and so on. Wonderful concepts that we have to work at. On that note, we'll go for a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go away, because after all, this is Newsline.
News First, Newsline Prime with Araz Shaukat Ali.
And welcome back to Newsline, where we are today recording, and we've got with us the Chief Scout Commissioner and the Deputy with us in the studio. Let me ask you, Engineer Meryl Gunatilaka, who's the Chief Scout Commissioner, how intense does it get? At what age does it get intense?
This being a scout from the very small age, then he goes through this ladder with different badges and etc., performing various things, and he will at the end he will end up just before his A levels as a President Scout. So His Excellency the President personally signs this his certificate and awards, gives them.
So the President of the country is also.
Yes, he is the Chief Scout.
Chief Scout.
Yes.
I I see.
So this is most, I mean, this is the highest award for any scout
So
camp.
I saw on television the other day that President Sirisena was at an event.
Yes.
What was that event?
It
about?
was during last October
Yeah.
in Kandy, and we have given about 1,200 young children the President's Award since 2014, accumulated towards 2018.
Right.
So that was a real achievement, and thanks to His Excellency, we have been able to give the awards. So this gives them a special concession for the advanced university entrance also. It's a certain amount of marks will be added to his or her score, which no other movement or any certificate will not be.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Well, that's interesting. And what about in the corporate world, we call it the churn rate. What's the churn rate like in terms of scouting? You know, from the young days with Miss Watsala, and they join, and where, you know, when you're younger, you tend to do what your friends. When you're 6 years old, everyone wants to do the same thing that the others doing. But then, as you progress up the ladder, and with the passage of time, what's the churn rate? How many of these can you retain in the next lot?
That's a very difficult question, I would say, but thanks. But scouting per se will not suit for, they think, for me sometimes. Then they will move out.
Right.
So there are certain, this is like a certain sort of a system where when you are not fit into the system, they move out. That, of course, I have to be very frank.
Right, I see. So so basically, through the scouting movement, you can identify members, scouts, who are not team players.
That's a very good question, sir. Yes.
Is that about right?
Yes.
So you can.
I would say yes.
So it's a bit like in the commercial sector, where there's a need to separate the boys from the men, because there is a distinction when it comes to work and whatever. So I see. So the churn, but is it a big? If you have 100 members when they're 6, what's the statistic like?
Of course, unfortunately, I do not have such statistics, but I would say it depends on the teacher, and also mostly depends on the teacher and the environment. If you get the Royal College, they have about 2,000 scouts, I think. And if you get the St. Thomas's College, Sri Javardhanapura President's College, they do also have about 1,500 scouts. That entire depending on the principal and the teacher and all this. So the teachers are one of our major concern, because nowadays we cannot recruit as much as possible our young teachers actually for the school.
Okay.
That's a huge problem.
And do you find that is scouting an elitist thing? Is it only for people who are
not at all. Not at all.
Right. Do you agree, Ms. Watsala?
It has expanded to all over country, and then any school in a district.
Yeah. So it's not the preserve of some
people
who have money.
No.
Okay.
It's enjoyed by all the children. Yeah.
And when these children come in there and become scouts, obviously you have some children who are financially, their parents are better than the next one along. How do you cope with that? Do you find some children who think that, well, you know, I've got more than them and I'm there? Do you have that? How do you cope with that?
Actually, now we are working in a national association. So now recently concluded Kabore, we knew one district facing trouble of coming there. So the association paid for all those things like that.
I see.
Yeah, and even in schools, like the school I'm working for, we always help the other schools getting uniforms and providing all the needy things. If it is brought to our attention, we always provide success. District-wise also, there are open troops where they can't find things. So the district level and the national level, we help them.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Engineer Meru Gunatilaka, Chief Scout Commissioner, how do you propose to increase the size of the movement then?
Yes, we were given a mandate
Yeah.
by His Excellency the President last week to increase the numbers. We can do it. It's a challenge. The important issue is this is a voluntary organization.
And because it's a voluntary organization, how important is it in the former conflict areas where we've had a war for over 30 years and there were lots of children who were part of this war, not because the children made their own mind up, but because they were forced into this being used or to joining the war, if you like. And clearly, with the number of casualties that has happened over that 30-year period, so many thousands of children must have lost their lives and so on. So it's only fair to presume that there will be some form of anger, resentment, suspicion in the minds of these the young ones, because they may have lost a mum, they must have lost a brother, a sister, dad, who knows. So where is your scout movement up there in the former conflict area?
Thank you very much, but of course there may be resentment,
Yeah.
anger, but I would personally invite you to come with me to Jaffna.
Right.
And within the scout movement, they are very friendly. I would say much better than the down south scouts. This is a relative statement,
Right.
but we are together like brothers and sisters.
And is the scout movement very important in our country's search for
reconciliation
and unity?
Yes.
Because when I was at St. Thomas's, I didn't put my friends in boxes, and nor was I put in a box and said, well, you're Tamil, this, that, and the other. We've all one.
Yes.
And that's how is your scout
Yes.
movement helping towards making that one Sri Lanka, one nation,
Yes.
one country?
Actually, we are a one family, and we act like that, and we think like that, and also mostly we exchange programs from down south to northern province and northern province to down south. We get sometimes we get certain projects from the World Scout movement for certain funds also for this type of reconciliation process.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Engineer Meru Gunatilaka, Chief Scout Commissioner, and Mrs. Vatsala Vijayvikrama, the Assistant Chief Scout Commissioner. Thank you very much for coming on the program. Thank you for sharing the very strong message that the Scout movement can help in our country's development. And on behalf of the Chairman and the Board of the Capital Maharaja organization, and especially Team News First, thank you, and we wish you all the very best. And we are always here to assist you in any way that the best media outfit can do.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
that's the way it was on Newsline. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll be back on another day, another morning, another evening on Newsline Prime even. Take care, have a great day, and God bless.
News First, Newsline Prime with Faraz Shaukat Ali.